Hello, it's 9 p.m. in RTD. It's time to English New Edition. Welcome to our newsroom for tonight's headlines. We have Djibouti is among countries that have improved for the international scene. China intends to attract more multinationals in its country. Welcome to our newsroom. The Republic of Djibouti, the Djibouti Republic's Policy and Institutional Assessment Rating Index was the subject of a workshop today in the late mornings at the People's Palace. During this workshop organized jointly by the Ministry of Finance in collaboration with the World Bank, the aim was to popularize the data collected but also the evaluations indices. This year's assessment revealed considerable progress in our country's overall score, which rise from 3.0 last year to 3.1, while the average for the IDA countries is 3.2. This progress is recorded in structural policies, which has gone from 3.2 to 3.3, policies to fight social exclusion and promote equity, which has gone from 3.0 to 3.1, and finally in public sectors management and institutions, which has gone from 2.7 to 3.1, and for which are above the average for ADA countries. This index, better known by its acronym Countries Policy and Institutional Assessment, the CPA, is a World Bank analytical tool that measures progress in strengthening the quality of a country's public policies and institutions, which with a score of 3.1 today. After the result of doing business, the Republic of Djibouti continued to expand its performance in public management. The country aims to achieve a score of 3.2, a better performance by 2020 that incorporate in accordance with the objectives of the SCAPE and the Djibouti Vision 2035. For his part, the World Bank representative, Mr. Boubacar Sid Barry, spoke briefly about the importance of this tool, the CPA, and the advantages that its data offers to the countries in the current global context. For his part, the Minister of Economy and Finance, Ilyas Musa Dawale, stressed that it is necessary to change the narratives today, work in synergy and share data, but also to improve our indices to go in the same direction will be our main objective. The Minister of Justice Ali Hassan Bahdon received yesterday the new UNICEF resident representative in Djibouti, Melva Johnson. The meeting focused in particular on the issue of children's rights and the monitoring of the policies and strategies put in place by the government of the Republic of Djibouti to defend and guarantee the rights of all children without distinction, and to be accountable for this commitment to the United Nations. The minister recalled on that occasion that our countries had transmitted the report on the right of the child to the committee in charge of its examination, and was still awaiting the invitation to the committee's sessions to present it. Also, the Minister of Justice also held working meetings with the Secretary General, the Attorney General, and the Republic of the President of the Supreme Court, with representative of local banks at the premises of the Minister of Justice and Penitentiary Affairs in charge of human rights. The meeting was also attended by the Chief of Staff of the Minister of Budget and the Director of Finance in a phase where reforms aimed at increasing the legal security of investment are multiplying the financial sector, whose contribution to economic growth is no longer to be demonstrated, must necessary to be be involved in discussions on ways and means of achieving rapid adherence to the variations that reform generate. This meeting was above all an opportunity to deeply question professional practices in the administration. The Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Mahmoud Ali Yusuf, held an important delegations including the ambassador of Djibouti to France and personal representative of the head of state to the organizations of International Organization of Francophonie, Ayed Mus'ad Yahye, and the director of International Organizations and national correspondent of the Francophonie, Mr. Gelle Idris Omar, to actively participate in the work of the three-round ministerial conference of the Francophonie, which is held in Monaco from 29 to 31 October 2019, the first ministerial meeting under the leadership of Ms. Louise Mishiki-Wabo, elected last year, was an opportunity to reaffirm our commitment to the Francophonie and even the ways and means of making Francophonie more visible through the implementations of cooperation program. For his part, the Minister Mahmoud Ali Yusuf has delivered an important speech. He say, I would like to express once again our warm congratulations on your elections as a Secretary General of the International Organization Francophonie, and I am convinced that your many qualities and your visions will give the organizations of a new dynamic. He said, I would like to strongly support the appeal of the Secretary General of the OEF in favor of youth and gender equality, and reaffirm the support of the Djibouti delegation for the method and approaches proposed through the Reflections Group. It will be sharing our vision of the Francophonie on the eve of its 50th anniversary as a space of solidarity, especially for linguistically landlocked countries like ours. The Minister of Defense in charge of relations with Parliament, Hassan Omar Mohammed, today, Wednesday, 13 October, received the visit of the Ambassador of Francisco Caetano Jose Madeira, Special Representative of African Union to Somalia and the head of the African Union missions in Somalia, accompanied by the Special Advisor Major General Osman Nur Suwagle. The meeting was attended by Brigadier General Muhammad Ali Tahir Ali Mohammed, Acting Chief of Defense Staff, as well as the Chief of Staff of the Ministry of Defense, Commander Bilas Abdullah Gelle. The minister and the diplomat discussed together the state of the security situation in Somalia. During this meeting, in his briefing to the minister, Mr. Madeira recalled that since its deployment, AMISOM has played an important role in creating a relatively secure environment that has enabled the Somali peace process to take root. In addition, the conditions for strengthening the technical and tactical capabilities of the AMISOM forces were discussed. The Rapid Intervention Battalion camp located in Ali Une hosted this early mornings a transfers of command ceremony between Captain Umar Ali Hassan, the Sunday commanders, and the Commander Muhammad Mahmoud Assowe, rising commanders of BIR. This colorful ceremony was presided over by General Zakaria Sheikh Ibrahim, Chief of the General Staff of the Armed Forces. Also saw the participationists in this ceremony, General Tahir Ali Mohammed, Deputy Chief of the Defense Staff, Major General Hassan Ali Kamil, CMG advisor, and many senior officials of the Djibouti Armed Forces, as well as the Prefect of Arta, the Deputy Prefect of Tamerjog, the Mayor of Djibouti City, the Director General of Police, the Commanders of the Republican Guard. On his arrival, he was welcomed by the commanders who was a descendant of Piers, the Prefect of Arta, and the Deputy Prefect, as well as the senior officials of the Djibouti Armed Forces. Before heading to the official gallery, the SEMGA reviewed the troops trained in his honor. Then SEMGA signed the official document between Captain Umar Ali Hassan, the sending commander, and the Commander Muhammad Mahmoud Assowe, rising commanders of Bir. In his speech, Semga congratulated Captain Umar Ali Hassan, top-down commander, for the work accomplished since taking office at the head of Bir. Captain Umar Ali Hassan handed over command of Bir to the Commander Muhammad Mahmoud Assowe to take over command of the Rapid Interventionist Battalion. At the end of the transfer of the command ceremony between Captain Umar Ali Hassan, descendants, and the commanders Muhammad Mahmoud Assowe, rising commanders of Bir, officials were invited to a lunch in a friendly atmosphere where traditional Afar and Somali dances were performed. Colonel Zakaria Hassan Aden, as Chief of Staff of the National Gendarmerie, has received on Tuesday, 29 October 2019, at 11 a.m. at Sheikh Musa Training Center on an important delegation of senior United Nations officials led by Mr. Jean-Pierre Lacroix, Under-Secretary General for Peace Operations. This delegation was composed of Mr. Anyonga Perfect, Special Envoy of the Secretary General for the Horn of Africa, and their political affairs officers, Arnaud Guillois, Ambassador of France to Djibouti, and Miss Barbara Manzi, Resident Coordinators of the United Nations System in Djibouti, also took part in the visit. Received in the honor rooms of the new conference centers, Mr. Lacroix immediately expressed his gratitude to Colonel Zakaria Hassan Aden, the Chief of Staff of the Gendarmerie, for the particularly warm welcome he received, and expressed his enthusiasm for visiting the National Gendarmerie schools. Colonel Zakaria Hassan Aden, Chief of Staff of the National Gendarmerie, thanked the Assistant Secretary General for Peace Operations for having given time and interest to the National Gendarmerie, and expressed his great honor at this visit. A training workshop on sign language techniques ended on Tuesday at Center. This workshop was organized by the NPH in collaboration with the Italian Association Mediterranean Sans Handicap. It brought together around the same table the education professional executive of the NPH and the representative of the Italian Association Mediterranean Sans Handicap. The workshop provided professionals with the opportunity to acquire the necessary knowledge to be able to detect a child with a hearing and knowledge disability or learning DD. Children with special needs, and especially those with language disorders, are generally excluded from education. A lack of effective diagnosis and the lack of specific teacher training make it difficult for these children to access schools. The Director General of the NPH, Duali Saeed Mahmoud, the Secretary General of the Minister of National Education, Mohammed Abdallah Mahyoub, jointly presided over the closing ceremony of this workshop. A strong delegation is led by the Secretary General of the Ministry of Affairs, Solidarity, and the Secretary of State for Decentralization, Ifrah Ali Ahmed, and Mr. Mohammed Issa Faraj, composed of senior officials from the Ministry of Social Affairs, Decentralization, ADDS, UNFT, ENST, traveled into Atta to take part in the meetings of the PNSF Regional Committee. It should be noted that the PNSF Regional Committee, chaired by Prefect Mohammed Sheikh Hassan, composed of the deputies of the region, the the Regional Director of Health and Education, and the coordinators of Social Counter, and the representative of MAS. These bodies is responsible for coordinating transversal activities and monitoring the program's discussion. The discussion is also concerned the next steps regarding the extensions of the PNSF in the locality of this region, the preparations of the conduct of beneficiaries target missions that will take place in the region from 13 to 7 November 2019. For his part, the Prefect Mohammed Sheikh Hassan welcomed the extensions of the family solidarity programs and congratulated the Ministry of Social Affairs. For the international scene, Qingdao Summit, China aims to attract more multinationals. The coastal cities of Qingdao held its first ever multinational summit. Dialogue, cooperations, and win-win agreement were at the heart of this event, which will now be held annually. Multinational corporations began investing massively in China almost 4 decades ago. By the end of 2018, more than 900,000 foreign owned companies that had been created in the country, resulting in foreign direct investment of 1.8 trillion. China is therefore one of the countries with the most multinationals in the world, but this is not enough for Beijing, which has embarked on new phases of opening to attract even more investors. This is it for the news. Thanks for watching us.